So say that again. So what are we starting with?
I want to start with briefly introducing you
Okay.
and asking you to introduce yourself and
Okay.
Listly.
All right.
Then we can dive into the share and search.
Okay.
I'm really excited to have Nick Kellet today on the 20-Minute Academy. Nick is a really good friend of mine. How long do we know each other, Nick?
Oh my
Um,
God.
Ages. Nick is probably one of my first Twitter friends. And Nick is the co-founder of Listly, also my favorite list building or list tool. I use it mostly for resource lists, but Nick will tell us a little bit more about what you can do with Listly. Nick, why don't you introduce yourself and Listly a little bit just in general to start?
Yeah, basically, so I'm Nick Kellet, co-founder of Listly. I have a background in technology and I'm various startups and basically always experimenting. I'm constantly live in this world of content media, content marketing, and just experimenting daily with what's going on and seeing what works because nothing stays still in this space for very long. Basically, Listly, for those that don't know it, is 30% of the web's content is in the form of a list. And most people were like, whoa, I didn't realize that. And the reason is very simple. List posts work. So by list posts, I mean the longer name, numbered list posts. 27 ways to do this, 10 things you need to know, 7 tips on how to. That kind of content gets shared a lot because we know it's skimmable. We know when we read it, it fits the topic we're interested in, and we skim the list quickly to check what's there. And basically, there is no platform for Listly that really manages lists and makes it easy to make listicles. And list posts, you create those list posts on Listly, then you can embed them back in your blog. So Listly is very like SlideShare in many ways, or YouTube. We consider them to be our peers. And we're basically elevating the form of lists to being a social platform that you can embed, share, and collaborate on. So, yeah.
That's cool. I think you practiced that.
No, different every time. I keep it interesting, Otherwise I'd get bored,
Yeah, no, it's cool. And as you know, I was probably one of the first users of Listly. I remember us tinkering with the first improvements and so on. And I've written a couple of posts about Listly in general, and I use it quite frequently, mostly as to collect resources and have resources on my blog, and invite others to vote on it and contribute other things. And we did a little video series about doing that. I think I'm going to link under the video. I'm going to link to that. That was very interesting. And then the other day you posted a slide deck that intrigued me. And it's called Two Favorite Things, One Simple Recipe. You want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, I've been experimenting a lot with recipes because I've discovered one of the things that people don't get is they don't have the time or attention to learn any more than what's right in front of their nose. Like, they only want to solve their immediate pain. No one wants to come to Listly and learn all of Listly, or to pick up WordPress and learn all of it. They just want to publish their first post, make their first list, and then they get it stuck, and then they want to solve the next problem. And so I've been kind of thinking around the idea of recipes and checklists. So I made this recipe the other day, which was basically realizing that we're very used to sharing today, right? The internet is all about sharing. It's sort of collaborative filtering. I see what you're reading, you see what I'm reading, we share stuff that's interesting, we publish our own content into that feed, right? But what we're not doing is sharing how or what we're searching for. And to me, that is as interesting, if not more interesting, than the actual content, right?
Yeah.
So by what are you searching for, there's two parts to that. One could be these are the 10 blogs that I follow, right? And you could go and follow those too. But even more higher level than that, because I don't even necessarily search by blog, I put in key search terms into Google, right? And sometimes I just want to look at that search and see what's new, see what's happening, see if I'm still top of the list on that search term, right? So what I've discovered, this is just like a cute and non-obvious, or to me, non-obvious use of Listly, is I can actually save a Google search to a Listly list.
Yeah.
Right? And then I open up that, I click on the link that's saved in Listly, boom, there's the current version of that list. So if I share that with you, which I do by default if it's on Listly, you can access that same search. You can see what I'm searching for. So if we were collaborating on something, not only can we share what we find, we can share our mechanics for finding stuff, if that makes sense, yeah?
Yeah. That's interesting, yeah. So it's
just
more
like
the ongoing searches.
Yeah, and the thing that's really big for me that people don't get is Google is way less dominant than we think, right? People are like, whoa, just a minute. Oh, easy, Nick. That's like, we just thought Google was in control here. Way so not the case, right? People do so much to sidestep Google these days without even realizing it. I know kids that only search for stuff on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
This blew me away when I discovered that. I also know people go to Google and search, and they won't pick a single result. They want to pick a list of things that's been written by somebody. So they're actually bypassing Google.
That is actually true. That's actually a good point.
Right.
Like if I'm looking for a new plugin, I put the search into Google, but the first thing I do is somebody that wrote about that type of plugin.
Exactly. So I discovered this when I first went into I now go into a bar or a restaurant, and I ask the server, who's a young millennial typically, right? I ask them how they find stuff. Don't ask a very non-loaded question. I guarantee you they will tell you they are looking for list posts. They don't say that, but what they say is they're looking for the best. They'll type in the best restaurant, the top something in Kelowna, or the best WordPress plugin for. When you do that, you get a list of WordPress plugins that somebody else has already hand-curated. You look down the list. You've heard of 2 of them, so the guy's instantly trustable. Because I know that place, I know that. What else has he got to tell me? What's new? How can he extend my knowledge? Which is why lists work, right? They fill in gaps. They make us smarter. They're quick and easy to skim. So, searching, the way we search, you can save searches on Pinterest. You can save searches on Instagram. You can save searches on Google. You can save searches on SlideShare. The second biggest search engine on the planet is, the answer to this one?
YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. But YouTube is a content platform, right? So YouTube, SlideShare, Instagram, Flickr, Listly, these are all destination search sites that you'll go to find stuff, and you can save those searches and share, for your own reuse, but also for collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not earth-shattering. It's not going to change the world, but it's just another use case, because Listly is a classic tool with many applications, right? In some ways, we're bucking the trend there. We're very used to these pinpoint apps that do just one job. Listly, you can create original list posts. You can gather research. You can make a playlist of videos. You can track all your guest blogs. You can save your searches. There's 27 things you can do with Listly. And that's why it's valuable to you. Once you build it into your workflow, it's actually easier for you to do that than use 27 different tools, right?
Yeah, and that's really handy. I mean, it even saves sometimes it saves me loading yet another plugin into my blog.
Yeah.
But I also think, and maybe you can touch on this. I think this idea. With the saving your searches all over, like on all places, is a great use of the Listly Chrome extension, because so far, like what I usually do is I log into Listly and I build my list, and then I log into my blog and I embed the list.
Right.
But because this is more a task that is ongoing. So I have a new list, a new search, and I think, well, actually, I'm going to need to get back to the search more often, so I'll save it in my Listly list. That's a great way of using the Chrome plugin.
Right. And the other cool part of the Chrome extension is you can take what I call a legacy list post, right? So a list that's just text, that's not Listly, and you can highlight the first point off the list, right-click, add to list. Highlight the second point from your list, right-click, add to list. Highlight the third, etc., and then save. And in literally 20 seconds, you can have saved 10 items to a Listly list, right? And you've basically repurposed old content, and that could be your content, or you could be getting 3 ideas from one list on one blog, 3 ideas from another, 3 ideas from another, and basically assembling the best of the best of the best, right?
Yeah.
And that is the smart way to do curation. I mean, I personally I see a 3-way Venn diagram for Listly, which is you can curate, which is awesome. I've just been describing how that works. You can create original content. And the third part of the Venn diagram is collaborate, is where you basically say, here's what I've got so far, can you add? Can you help? Can you vote? What's missing? And when you use teamwork and get other people to embed your list, or if you've got some collaboration partners, right? So you've talked about working with Ian, right, for example, and you could get him to you could have some list that he embeds on his blog and you embed on yours and somebody else embeds on theirs. You're sharing the results between 3 of you. You're finding more than 3 times as much stuff, right? Or you're adding more value for less effort, basically. And that's the collaboration piece of Listly. So.
That's great. I mean, I really like that new recipe. I even like the term recipe for that. And thanks for introducing that. That's great. Just to finish off, are there any exciting new things in Listly that you're working on?
Yeah, we got some really cool ways of we're going to be getting very specialist in the way we add content to a list. And that's going to be coming out in a few weeks' time, along with a kind of boost to a lot of things. We're going to move some things over to premium, really be supporting our premium users. So we're getting very specialist at the way we add content. So we'll be recognizing that things are, add a video or add a product or add a slide deck or a podcast, and getting specialist at that and making, simplifying that experience for people. But those kind of extensions are all going to be premium extensions to Listly. So just power tools to get people to realize and give them access to more tools in more power in less time. Really where we're focusing right now. Great.
Thank you very much. That was very informative, and it'll show up in the 20-Minute Academy very soon.
Excellent.